pregnancy women giving birth without medical...
Obviously what's happened in Gaza, the 13,000 children that have died, the 32,000, maybe 34,000 dead overall, of course, and the children at the moment that are dying of malnutrition. That's been our focus. But we must also talk about what's happening in the West Bank. Earlier this week, a young Israeli child was found dead. And what then happened is that the Israeli settlers went on the rampage. Now we believe at least 4 Palestinians were killed, but there were dozens of others were injured. We've already had 460 Palestinians killed in the West Bank in this last period. What happened this week was the ultimate disgrace though, because whilst the Israeli settlers went on the rampage, killing and maiming and also sexual violence being perpetrated as well, the IDF soldiers stood to one side. And then in addition to that, from meeting with Israeli colleagues this morning who are supporters of ours, we now know that the peace observers, the legal observers from the various Israeli peace groups have now been banned from the West Bank, and some of them have been arrested. So what's happening on the West Bank, we must never lose the focus. In Parliament today, we asked the government, what are you doing with regard to sanctions against the settlers illegally expanding their settlements across the West Bank? The minister's response was that the government is exerting sanctions. So we asked how many settlers have been sanctioned in this whole period. The response was 2. Out of the tens of thousands of Israeli settlers illegally occupying the West Bank, only 2 have been identified for sanctions. And we don't even know what the level of sanctions were. What's happening in the West Bank, just as in Gaza, are war crimes. The murders of Palestinians on the West Bank is the equivalent to the war crimes taking place in Gaza. So we must never forget, in solidarity, the Palestinian struggle in the West Bank as well. And we need to be saying to Netanyahu and his cabinet that we hold them responsible, yes, for the murders of the Palestinians in Gaza, but also the West Bank. And I tell you, I want to live long enough to see Netanyahu and the Israeli cabinet in The Hague prosecuted for war crimes. Because this is a scar, a shameful scar on the whole of the West, and UK governments and others have failed to act effectively to end this war, bring about an immediate ceasefire, but also hold those war criminals to account. Solidarity.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Next up, we have Janine from PYM, Palestinian Youth Movement. Thank you very much.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
In our thousands, in our millions!
We are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions!
We are all Palestinians.
Every year since 1974, on April 17th, Palestinians and people of conscience around the world commemorate Palestinian Prisoners' Day. As of April 2024, there are 9,400 Palestinian prisoners held by the Zionist state. Shame! More than half of these are children. Shame! And of the 9,400 Palestinian prisoners currently detained, over half were detained after October 7th. Shame! This year we commemorate Palestinian Prisoners' Day in the context of thousands of our people having been abducted and tortured by Zionist forces since the start of this genocide. Shame! This year we also commemorate Palestinian Prisoners' Day in the context of the martyrdom of Palestinian revolutionary and intellectual Walid Daqqa, who was martyred in between occupation prison walls. Shame! Walid Daqqa's body is still being held by the Zionist regime, who are insisting on holding on to his body until he completes his sentence. Shame! So I want to read an excerpt from a statement that was released by Walid Daqqa's family yesterday. To our people, the Palestinian people, our Arab nation and the supporters of our cause worldwide, 10 days have passed since the announcement by the occupation authorities through the media and without any official notification to us until this moment of the martyrdom of the prisoner Walid Daqqa in Ramleh on April 7, 2024, after 38 years and 14 days of his captivity, despite the end of his actual sentence on March 24, 2023. As we address you as the family of the prisoner Walid Daqqa, we realize that Walid's journey continues, regardless of how he is described, as a fighter, a prisoner, or a martyr. In all cases, Walid continues to provide us and the world with the highest examples of loyalty to the Palestinian cause, the cause of justice, freedom, and liberation, along with his brothers, comrades, and martyrs in the struggle, captivity, and martyrdom. His transition from one state to another in the transformations of his body will not change his stance, the compass of his heart, or the direction of his soul towards the eternal quest for freedom. And the reason I want to read this excerpt is because in the Palestinian liberation struggle, we understand our prisoners to be the compass of our struggle. They light the path to our freedom and liberation. And so we're here today to say we will continue to lead by their example and draw strength from their sumud until Palestine is free, from the river to the sea. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free! Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Thank you very much.
We have learned a lot in the last few months, perhaps too much. One thing we have learned fairly recently is about the role...
London, make some noise! Alright, so I've got some time, so I wanted to do a little spoken word piece, if that's alright. It's untitled, I can't lie to you, it's still in progress, but it makes sense. I sometimes wish I was Batman. Not care about the rich ruling the poor and acting like I'm doing the right thing. Hiding in the shadows, telling people, if you want me, shine a light in the sky and I'll come. And before they finish telling me, I'll disappear just as quick. Back to my fortress, protected by my millions. But the reality is, to be a real hero, the rich and powerful are the first that need to crumble. I don't see the point in running after some 2-2 drug dealer when the person putting in the law against said criminal is committing genocide over genocide. Oh look, it's gone worldwide. When you thought one country was enough, try 6 spread over 2 continents. I'm talking Congo, Sudan, Palestine, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria. And that's just right now. God only knows what I haven't mentioned, not forgetting that this is an inherited trait passed down generation over generation, and it's not just one country, no. You got UK, USA, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, all complicit, and God knows who else. I sometimes wish I could pick up a wand and make something disappear. Guess I have more to learn from the West. But Harry Potter is just a story from a mind wandering on a train. We are here as a nation, let our minds wander in unity, for he who shall be not named is not a character. It was an idea formed. It was an idea formed from an individual that became a movement and now runs the world. Zionism, it's not Judaism. They renounced that name. Put a new face on terrorism. Freedom is the birth from liberation. When we rise, we're taken out one by one. It's silent, seen as a political assassination. So no further investigation needed. And if they kill us, and if they can't kill us, they lock us up and throw away the key and call it a justice system. But raise your fists and let your voices And don't let your voices fall silent. Resistance is not terrorism, it is our right as an oppressed people. When I say we, I don't mean Palestinians. The root cause of poverty and famine in Africa wasn't due to a political war. It was done behind closed doors on papers signed by hands, manipulated with lies, lies of power, lies of freedom, lies that are being shown today for what they truly are. Free, free! Free, free!